Uh, Good afternoon, students. Uh, we are here to discuss about uh, examination tips since your examination is starting from 12th of January, and you must have till now must be revising all the concepts, because all the hard work that you have done in the last 6 months is not is now the time to consolidate upon, because your this 10-12 days last is very crucial for clearing the foundation examination, because ultimately it doesn't matter that how much you study. Ultimately it's important that how strategically or scientifically you have designed your strategy for clearing the examinations, because ultimately uh, every examination has its pattern for study. And here particularly in my subject, particularly business economics, students who have economics in the 11th and 12th classes must have a basic understanding of the subject. Although from 24th September onwards, through live virtual classes, we had covered the whole syllabus in great detail, discussing about each and every concepts in detail. In between, a set of questions is also been given at the end of every session, so that students can practice upon. Although two set of mock test paper is already been completed, and mostly students have already working on their weaknesses, if any, that had happened during the examinations. But these are all mock test paper. Your final examination is on 20th of January, if I am correct. So definitely no need to worry about uh, if something gone wrong in attempting any questions. Still 10 days or 12 days to be precise is there to consolidate upon your weaknesses. uh, as you are aware that business economics in the new syllabus, which was implemented from 1st July 23, uh, that is paper number 4, is a objective type paper consisting of 100 questions of 1 mark each. Now, in this paper, there is also a provision for negative marking. So, while marking the questions, you need to be extra sure that you don't mark the questions just through wild guessing. So, try to eliminate the wrong answers, and with full uh, confidence, mark your answer correctly. Uh, Generally, uh, this paper consists of knowledge based questions and skill and application based questions. Means sometimes questions directly related to the concept that you have studied, and few questions on testing your numerical ability on the different chapters where numerical problems are being given. Although in our last BoS for success also, we had told you the students in detail about from which chapter uh, you can expect numerical questions, and what are the strategies for solving that questions. So I'm briefly I'll be covering about your detailed syllabus. I think the student who have joined for the first time, they must be need to be aware about that what are the important sections, the weightages, although till now you must be aware of that, but just basic clarifications. We are just once again telling you that the different chapters, the weightages, the types of questions that you can expect in this examination. Now, the first unit is Introduction to Business Economics, where the detailed content consists of meaning and scope of business economics, basic problem of economy, and role of price mechanism. Here, the questions are basically related to what is business economics, uh, what is the distinction between economics and business economics, what are the characteristics of business economics. Business economics is a microeconomics, or a macroeconomics is applied economics, uh, the different systems prevailing, the capitalist, the socialist, and the mixed economic systems, the important characteristics, the weaknesses of each system. You need to be aware of that. Although in very simple language, all these concepts are being explained in the study module. And uh, we are telling you that from the very beginning that the course module of ICI is sufficient for clearing this foundation examination. Is more than sufficient basically, but for examination, passing the examinations also, the content that is been given in the study module is sufficient, and mostly the questions that is been asked in the examination is from the study module only. So you don't have to just rely on too many sources. Basically, if you read diligently the course module that is been prescribed to you, you can easily score very good marks in economics. Uh, the sec the first section is having a weightage of 5%. The second unit that is important, that is theory of demand and supply, which is having a weightage of 10%, where uh, the meaning of demand and supply, the law of demand, the law of supply, elasticity, theory of consumer behavior, indifference curve approach, uh, elasticity, and other light concepts is been there. Now, the demand and supply is basic for the student, is the very basic, which is very important for understanding the basic concepts in economics. So here also, the law of demand, the shape of demand curve, the shape of supply curve, although these are basic in nature, but the student need to be aware of all these things. The elasticity portion, particularly not only concept, numerical questions is also been asked on the elasticity portion. So what is cross elasticity, what is point elasticity, what is uh, price elasticity, income elasticity? You need to have understanding of that. What is the distinction between price and cross elasticity, the different classification of goods, luxury good, normal good, all their elasticities, the characteristics, all is been discussed in detail. So the elasticity of supply is also important. Consumer surplus concepts is also been there. The indifference curve, what is the meaning of indifference curve, what are the characteristics of indifference curves, although the detailed elaboration is not very much there in the syllabus, that is not required. But the basic understanding of all this concept is very much important, and mostly quite a number of questions is been asked in the examination from unit number 2. So you need to be revising your all the concepts that has been given in the study module, which is very important. The third unit is the theory of production and cost. Now, the point is here also the meaning, the different factors, the long term and the short run phenomena, law of production of variable proportions, law of return to scale, producer equilibrium. Here again, question is been asked, uh, particularly what is the important distinction between law of variable proportion and law of return. What is long run? What is short run? What is cobweb theorem? Uh, the different factors that is important in production. Uh, then the concept of cost, the short run, the long run cost, average and marginal variable cost, total fixed cost, variable cost, the different characteristics of a particular the cost, how to compute the particular cost, what is the shape of the cost. These are the areas from where the questions is been asked in the examination. So your unit number 2 and unit number 3 is having a weightage of 20%. So you can expect quite a number of questions from these two units. Then comes the most one of the important chapters, that is the determination of in price determination in different markets, the different type of market structure, what is perfect competition, what is monopoly, what is monopolistic competition, what is oligopoly, the different characteristics of the market different structure, the shape of demand curve, the shape of revenue curve, uh, all these are there. Quite a number of examples are there, which is falling under which market structure. But oligopoly, again, king demand curve. What is king demand curve? Why is king is there in oligopoly? What are interdependence of firms in oligopoly? What is the strategy the particular operator in a particular market will be having to have an advantage over their competitors? Whether the product is homogeneous, whether there are differentiated product, what is price discrimination, all these aspect is being covered in this market structure. So again, this is important structure where the weightage is of 15%. So kindly revise the market chapter. The distinctions is very much there in a form of chart in your study module, which differentiate between one form of structure from the another one. Then the important part is determination of national income. Here, macroeconomic aggregates and measurement of national income. What is GDP? What is GNP? Uh, what is national income? How national income is calculated from all the three methods? Whether by calculating national income by three methods, whether the sum, the aggregate that you are getting will be the same. Uh, what are the component that is been added in a particular methods? Uh, all this are important from this unit, determination of market, determination of national income. Again, the Keynesian and classical economics distinctions, the two sector model, the three sector model, the four sector model, how to calculate one variable when other inputs are given there in the questions. So there are simple explanations which has been given in your module, and in a particular page, the whole important formulas are also been there. And one thing that at this moment, particularly at the end of each chapters, the summary that is been given is important for revising the concepts. Sarans that has been launched by board of studies is also available. So for brushing the concepts, that is very important. But the thing is uh, that all thing is will be beneficial only you have read the the content, because at the last moment it will be difficult for you if you are understanding the new concepts. So mostly at the last stage, mostly all the students who are serious for uh, clearing these examinations must have prepared in great length the detail of the syllabus. So these are the focus areas where you can expect a few questions, and particularly questions not only related to the theoretical aspect, but questions on the numerical ability is also been tested, particularly in chapter unit number 5, which is having a weightage of 15%. So you need to be preparing across these lines. Then the sixth unit is of business cycle, where the meaning, features, causes of behind a business cycle is being discussed. Now, again, uh, what are the characteristics, the four phases of business cycle? What is leading indicator? What is lagging indicator? What is concurrent indicators? The definitions, the examples, uh, a few phenomena which depicts business cycle, all is been there in this chapter. So you need to be working on those lines so that you are able to understand the concepts, and the questions that is been asked in the examination, you are able to solve that. Now frankly speaking, there is the questions that is been asked in the examination is not very tough in nature, and it doesn't involve too much of a complications, because 100 questions you have to attempt in 120 minutes. That in 2 hours you have to attempt 100 questions. Now there is no uniform common strategy for all the student. Every student had his own strength and weaknesses, and they had must have planned their own strategy how to approach the examinations, because approaching what you do in the examination hall is also important, because you have studied in great length in the last 3 4 months, and you don't revise those concepts particularly when the exam is appearing. Now definitely it's an objective type questions, the choice of answers will be very close. So you need to be thorough with the concept, then only you are able to negate the wrong answers uh, and take the right answer which is appropriate for the given question that has been asked in the examination. So keep in mind that the choices will be close if you don't understand the concepts. Now again you won't be able to mark the correct answer. So and since the time is less, in 2 hours you have to solve 120 questions. Now if you stick or stuck in a particular question that is taking lot of time, don't uh, give too much time on a particular question. If that is tough for you, leave that questions, because there are another 99 question which is waiting for you uh, to be answered. So time management is also important. uh, Keep a balanced lifestyle, particularly during the examination phase in the next 10 12 days that has been there itself. uh, because you, if you take too much stress, you don't sleep properly, then definitely your performance will be not uh, to the standard that you have set for yourself. So maintaining a healthy lifestyle, uh, removing stress that has been there, uh, uh, don't be too obsessed with the this WhatsApp and other things that has been there itself. So for the time being, just try to eliminate all the negative part that is been associated. You just to have to focus on the examination that is been in the next 10-12 days. Next important unit is of public finance, which is again having a weightage of 10%, which again consists of fiscal functions or view of central and state finances, market failure, intervention to correct market failure, process of budget making, revenue expenditure management, and management of public debt. So again, here a lot of questions is been asked, and particularly in the new syllabus unit on budget making process, budget is also there. So it is an interesting chapter because public finance is one of the areas in macroeconomics where it is affecting the economy at large. So all the concept that has been there in the syllabus, you need to knowing about that thing. Although we had tried to give you in great detail while the LBC classes was going on, all the doubts, all the detailed explanations of the concept is was done, and the different types of questions that was is been asked in the examination is also been deliberated at length. So although that has been several times is been talked about, even the faculties who have taken the live virtual classes, they had also spoken in the classes. So I don't need to repeat the same thing, but that's important. Then comes money market, where concept of demand for money, supply for money, the different theories of money, and monetary policy. Monetary policy and the fiscal policy, that in the earlier unit of public finance, that is very important. There are different aggregates that influences the monetary policy, how the monetary policy is being designed. The RBI Monetary Committee has been there to think about the different rates which can justify the supply of money in the market. All these aspects are been in great detail that has been explained in your study module. The CRR, the SLR, open market operations, all is been explained in your study module. So although in the last examinations, few questions was on the rates, but generally very updated questions on rates, that what is the CRR that is currently there, or what is the bank rate, or what is the this type of questions is been asked, but generally chances are not very significant. So but whatever given in your study module, you need to be sure on that. Then comes the international trade. This chapter is very important because in open economy, international trade focus on various development which facilitate the two countries who are part of the international trade phenomenon. Now here the different theories of international trade is been explained, that you need to be aware of the trade, the different trade instrument, which has been available, the trade negotiation, WTO, GATT is that WTO which has replaced GATT, which was earlier in existence. What are the common problems that is been faced, that has been discussed in detail. Then the exchange rate, what is fixed exchange rate, what is floating exchange rate, what then international capital movement, the FDI and FII is part of your syllabus. Now this time, particularly in the new syllabus, a unit on Indian economy is also been added, which is again having a weightage of 10%, right from the ancient times to the modern time. What are the different policies that was in place? What are the earlier policy, and what are the new policy that has replaced the earlier one? Particularly after 1991, there are various changes that has been appeared. Now recently, in 2014, uh, after the new the current government has taken charge. The planning commission, the earlier existing planning commission, was replaced by Niti Aayog. So, what are the important features of Niti Aayog? How it is different from planning commission? These are all is been explained in the chapters. Then there are different sectors. What is primary sector, secondary sector, tertiary sectors? What is the weightage of a particular sector in the GDP? That is already been explained in the in your study material. So this is what basically the whole syllabus of public finance, sorry, business economics is all about. So I think you already you must be knowing about the weightage and the questions, but generally the questions will be from your study module. It will be according to the weightage that is been assigned. All the chapters in the study module is important. So don't skip any particular chapters, because all the questions that has been coming in the examinations is carrying the same weightage. So skipping particular chapter is not advisable, although due to paucity of time, if you miss something, so don't be disheartened. There are many more questions on the units that you have studied in detail is there to clear the examinations. So only thing is, you need to be optimistic. You need to be stress free during the examinations period, particularly in the examinations hall. Your 2 hour performance matters a lot. So don't panic in the examination hall. Questions will be simple in nature. Questions will be from the study module. There's nothing that has been coming that you have not studied. So it will be simple in nature. So that is all from the syllabus, which I just want to highlight. Now I'm been joined by my friend Asis Kedia. So he'll be talking about some technical queries there, if that has been related to the subject, and also a few of the areas where some concepts that need to be revised. So he'll be discussing about particularly the market, the national income, a few part of uh, money supply, and international trade, because these are four areas where a little bit of brushing of your concepts will be done. So in between, any questions of yours or any doubt of yours, if any is there, that also will be also taken care. So over to you, Assis, for taking this session forward.
Okay. Thank you, Nikhil sir. Good afternoon, students. So I hope you all are doing well. You all are full of confidence. I'm very sure you'll do well in your examination. And as sir has highlighted the background, the general background of what needs to be stressed on and what need not be. So I'll not repeat those points. I'll come straight to the technical part. As far as technical part is concerned, 2 or 3 advices before I move into your doubts, because today I like to begin, obviously, as sir has mentioned, talking about markets, money supply, right? International trade or national income for that matter. I'll do that. Definitely I'll do that. But first I'll let me, tell you the order in which our discussion will be held. First of all, let me highlight a few specifics. Number one. Number two, you all start asking your doubts. Number two, and then third point, we will complete all the important areas which Nikhil sir just highlighted, right? And we will do all of them. So here it is. Friends, since exam is almost there, a few points to be remembered is that, sir, how do we revise? Because the syllabus is so huge and the time is so less, how we read that complete book? My answer to you is simple. There are two things to be revised. There are two things to be revised. Number one, while you had done the class in the board of study, that is the LVC lectures that you had seen, you would have definitely made some notes of it. So first of all, revise from that notes, because when you write something in your own language, you remember it the best. So number one, those notes you revise. Number two, even if you did not maintain notes for every chapter or not at all, then at the end of every chapter in the ICI module, you have the summary notes. In fact, institute has so brilliantly planned everything is that first of all, institute notes are enough. Then the summary at the end of every chapter is enough. Then called summaries, saransh. It's in the board of studies side again. So saransh, I call the summary of summaries. So brilliantly, they have kind of in a chart form, in a colorful way, they have made saransh. So this is something, these three are the things you should go ahead with. As far as attending an MCQ is concerned, which question to do first or which not to do, my game plan is very simple. Don't waste, because each question is of 1 mark. There are 100 questions, right? So if you are confident about any question, just do first, complete from the paper what you are completely confident about. Don't waste time. जिस पर भी आप confident हो, whatever questions you are confident in, that you are 100% sure in, पहले आप लोग उसको खत्म करो, attend them first of all. Having done that, then you come back and play the game of probability. Na? That is, if you are sure, reasonably sure, take the risk. When you should avoid the risk should only be avoided when you have no knowledge, from where a particular question came. Like, for example, I'll give you, when I was giving my foundation, it was called CPT back then. So when I was giving that CPT, the questions in economics that used to confuse me was there only used to be 2 or 3 questions. So nothing to panic, but they used to be on rates. And as a student, I was very poor with remembering the rates, because my first question would be, कब का rate पे question आया है? Was it in the 2024 rates institute is asking, or 2025? I am sure you people would face similar dilemmas. But the good news is, hardly, as Nikhil sir has already highlighted, that hardly there are 2 to 3 questions from rates. So ठीक है ना? If we have no knowledge, we have not gone through the book, no problem, just skip those questions na. In such questions you will have no knowledge, means even if that occurs, otherwise the concepts are mostly conceptual, case based, or kind of direct. If it's a direct question, again easy. If it's a conceptual question, again easy. So there it is. If 95 to 98% paper is easy, then okay, we can manage that 2 or 3%, because at the end of the day, the goal is to clear this competitive examination. Okay, so there it is. Now friends, having said this, I'll start talking about the different measures of money supply. But before that, before I speak a word about it, if you have any questions, please ask. Any question is more than welcome. It could be from a topic, it could be a general one. Okay, so then let's go ahead and talk about money supply. Let's talk about money supply.
Particularly students, any doubt regarding the pattern of examinations, the syllabus, already we had covered in great detail. So I think I and Assis both have clear your doubts. So till now, I think no questions will be there regarding the pattern and the weightage and all other stuff. So
Okay.
that is why we are focusing on some technical aspect that you need to be remembering at this moment of preparation.
Right, sir. Okay. So friends, money supply. Friends, RBI, again, listen to it very carefully. RBI has prescribed four measures of money supply, which we call as M1, M2, M3, and M4. These are the four measures of money supply you see that have been prescribed by RBI. Now, when I will tell you कि M1 includes this, or M2 includes these things, or M3 includes these things, your question would be क्यों? Why so? My answer to you here is it's more of a compliance requirement. It is because RBI has said so. So if you try to search for the logic, obviously from a narrow perspective, I can give you one logic, but most of it is decided by RBI. Yes, as far as the logic is concerned, what RBI is trying to do is that whatever is less liquid or comparatively which one is more liquid, जो easily convertible है cash में और easily available in cash है, RBI has tried to keep it in the earlier versions, M1 types. And when it becomes least liquid, RBI has included the liquid assets, but also the least liquid assets in M4. But we did not, kind of go into the logic. Let's find out what M1, M2, M3, and M4 finally include. Acha, one question can come. M1 is also called what? So remember this. M1 is also called, friends, narrow money. Now, narrow money includes what? Narrow money includes currency with public. Narrow money includes what? Narrow money includes currency that is available with public. Then all of you know demand deposit with banks. We also call it as CASA deposits. If you remember, while I was teaching in the class, I had taken this language, demand deposits with bank. I had told this to be CASA deposits. Do you remember what CASA deposit means? CASA deposits means current account and savings account, because these deposits are there with the bank and you can withdraw them anytime you want because it is easily liquid, right? And then any other deposit with RBI comes under M1. Any other deposit with RBI comes under M1. Other deposits with RBI. Any other deposit that RBI might be having. So M1 is called narrow money. Now, when we move from M1 scope to M2 scope, then what happens, friends, is that M2 includes M1. So that is first thing. M2 includes M1, but along with M1, it also includes savings deposit with post office. It also includes savings deposit with post office. So M2 is what? M1 plus saving deposits with post office. Saving deposits with post office. So, sir, is it correct that in post office also we can maintain our savings? Yes, you can. Though I know the number of post offices because of the mailing and everything is on the decline, but still you can inquire, you will get to know. Next, M3. Friends, remember M3 and M4 are both called broad money. So don't be confused. And primarily M3 is broad. So what does it include? M3 includes what? It includes M1 plus. Now the mistake students tend to make is, ki sir, you had written in M2 M1 plus something. So in M3 it should be M2 plus something. No, 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 no. It's correct. It is M1 plus. Now you remember, there are some deposits which are withdrawable on demand. But there are some deposits, which you can only withdraw. There are some deposits, which you can only withdraw. There are some deposits which you can only withdraw when a particular maturity is achieved. That is what is called time deposits. Example, fixed deposits, recurring deposits. So time deposits with banks, time deposits with banks. So time deposits with banks, right? Time deposits with banks. So that is included in your M3 level. And as far as M4 is concerned, now here you will include everything. It is M3 plus all the deposits with post office, not necessarily post office savings account, everything. Total deposits with post office. But remember, one thing is to be excluded here. What is excluded in M4? Institute may ask. So what is excluded? Come on, everyone. Yes, excluded is national savings certificates issued by the government. What is excluded is national savings certificate issued by the government. National savings certificate issued by the government. So friends, This was the primarily parts of money supply prescribed or imposed by RBI, right? Any doubts from here or any questions from here? Please ask so that I can change the topic, students. Let's see if there are any doubts. Okay. Chalo. If there are no doubts, then I can move forward. And now we are going to talk about markets, right? Let's move on to markets a bit. Let's talk about the micro world a bit. Markets. When we speak of markets, now, first of all, what is the definition? A market is a set of all actual and potential buyers of a product who agree to sign a deal regarding price and quantity to be bought and sold. Simple definition, but that's not it. When we discuss markets on the basis of economic system that is operating, we generally refer to four to five types. We refer to the perfect competition world. We refer to the perfect competition world. We refer to the world which we call as perfect competition. We refer to a world which we call as monopoly. Perfect competition, monopoly. Then we have monopolistic competition. I will highlight for you, obviously you all know the features, but I will highlight for you the key features that is really going to help you, right? Oligopoly. And finally, you have monopsony, right? The main varieties. Obviously, along with it, you have some small varieties like duopoly, stuff like that, bilateral monopoly. So you have that. I'll definitely discuss those, but this is more important. See, perfect competition. It's a market, to be very exact, to be very true, it is a market which does not exist in reality. We are discussing it from an idealistic point of view so that we can understand other markets better. So let's talk about perfect competition. Perfect competition is a market which has a large number of buyers and sellers. Perfect competition is a market which has a number of buyers selling products. So there are large number of buyers and sellers selling homogeneous products. There are large number of buyers and sellers selling homogeneous products with freedom of entry and exit. So you may enter the market as a seller, you may leave the market as a seller. Because there are very large number of buyers and sellers, market is not impacted because of an individual seller's or an individual buyer's action, right? Next thing is that there is an assumption here that there are no transportation costs, and every buyer and every seller has perfect knowledge in this market. Every buyer and every seller has perfect knowledge in the market. And how does the demand curve in this market look? It's, since see here, firms are price takers. Firm is a price taker because price is not decided by the firm. Price is decided by who? Price is decided by the market forces of D&S, demand and supply, right? And therefore, how does market forces decide the price, demand and supply? I'll give you an example. See how prices are decided. So suppose price of a product is rupees 10. Now you all know when price is low, demand is high. So suppose demand for the product is 1000 units, but the sellers are not willing to sell. So supply is only 500 units. Suppose the price rises to 20 rupees. All of you know when price rises, demand falls, but at the same time supply rises. And when price rises to rupees 30, demand falls further, but supply rises to 1000. So when you all see, everyone, when you all see, you see at 20 rupees, the demand and supply have become equal. When you see at 20 rupees, the demand and supply have become equal. So when at 20 rupees demand and supply have become equal, it means market is at equilibrium. This is the equilibrium price and this is the equilibrium quantity. So therefore, this is the price which every firm is going to charge. And remember, firms are price takers. Market is the price maker in a perfectly competitive world. And since price is constant, this is why you see a horizontal curve. Obviously, this is y-axis, this is x-axis, this represents quantity, this represents price. You all understand that. But this is the ultimate truth, why it is, kind of horizontal. Next, moving on to monopoly market. Sir, in monopoly market, if we talk, all of you know that there is a single seller. There is a single seller. Actually, there are many sellers, but there is a single seller, and the single seller's product has no close substitutes. Example, Indian Railways. Obviously, there are other means of transportation. It does not mean that Indian Railways is only going to carry you from place A to place B. But the thing is that there is no close substitute as fast and as cheap. Whatever alternatives you have are fast but expensive. And if they are cheap, then they are slow. So what I'm meaning to say is cheapest is walk. You keep walking. But you understand, you'll take some places you will take 6 months to years to visit. So definitely, sir, it's not logical. That's why I'm saying there is single seller with no close substitutes. People say, and I think it's a misnomer. What people say is that in monopoly there is no competition. What I say is there is no close substitute. Competition you can say, but there is no close substitute, right? So there it is. There are substitutes, but nothing is close to this. Okay. So single seller with no close substitutes. And here seller is the price maker. Seller decides the price ultimately here. Seller is who? Seller is the price maker here in this kind of market. Okay. So seller is the price maker. I have discussed that with you. What else? Sir, a good question that has come to my mind. Does, since monopolist is a single seller, let me see if you all are answering this question. Does a monopolist reduce price? If no, then it is okay. But if yes, then why? Does a monopolist reduce price? What say everyone? What do you think? So friends, listen carefully. The answer is yes. Sometimes a monopolist reduces price. Yes, sometimes, because sometimes they want to attract new customers. Yes, because sometimes they want to attract new customers. So sometimes when they want to attract new customers, now you see they kind of get into this business of reducing the price. Okay. So yes, they reduce the price in order to attract new customers. Moving on. Moving on. Does a monopolist reduce price? So the answer is yes. You have listened to it carefully. Now, moving on. Since it is wanting to attract new customers, now how does the demand curve look? Since prices are reduced to sell more, naturally it goes without saying that it is going to be a downward sloping curve. But guess what? The demand curve will here be inelastic in nature. Sir, why inelastic? Because at the end of the day, even if price changes, consumers don't have much option. So there will be little change in demand. When do you say demand is elastic? When the change in demand is greater than the percentage change in price. Here, obviously, price change will result in some change in demand, but not much, because there is no close substitute. So even if the monopolist raises the price of their products, you cannot say that, okay, now I am angry, so now I am not going to buy that. You can do it with a particular brand of shoes, but you cannot do it with railways. Huh? If for example, if from place A to place B, railways were charging 1,000, now railways increase it to 1,400. So from an external perspective, you see 40% increase. But even if you get angry, you have no option, because if you take aeroplane, okay, aeroplane is going to charge anywhere around 6,000 rupees. I am sure you're understanding. Still, there is no competition there. So yes, even if price rises, not many people are going to turn away from the product. And that's why, though the demand curve is downward sloping, it is generally inelastic in nature. Okay. Yes. So there it is. Next, monopolistic competition. Next is monopolistic competition. This is an interesting concept. This is my favorite one. What is monopolistic competition, sir? Sir, monopolistic competition is a kind of blend. It's a kind of blend, and it combines features of, if not completely, almost, it combines features of a perfect competition market and a monopoly market. Sir, how so? And do you know any examples as such? Obviously, be able to give you a lot of examples. See, monopolistic competition. I'll give you an example of shoes. Suppose in the case of shoes, there are many manufacturers and sellers of shoes, right? Many manufacturers and sellers of shoes. Adidas, Reebok, Nike, Puma, Bata, so many. There are so many. So what I'm trying to say is there are many people selling shoes, right? Now, though there are many people selling shoes, so each has a monopoly. So suppose you are using a Puma product, you will kind of have a brand monopoly towards Puma, but you will also have to compete with, let's say, Adidas, who has similar brand monopoly. So yes, there is brand loyalty, which is reflected in the form of brand monopoly, but a brand has to compete with other brands also enjoying similar monopoly power, and thus the name monopolistic competition. Because yes, there is monopoly of the brand, but competition with other brands having similar monopoly power, and hence the name monopolistic competition, you know, it's quite visible there. So perfect competition and monopoly is done. Perfect competition plus monopoly done. Okay, great. Now what else? और बताइए. In monopolistic competition, sir, how does the graph look like? क्या आप हमें बताओगे how does the graph look like? Yes, here also see at the end of the day they are selling, so they will reduce price if needed, though it will be elastic, though both are downward sloping. But in monopolistic competition, it is elastic because customer has an option. Also in monopolistic competition, huge selling cost means advertisement costs are incurred, because you will want to show your product better than the better than the competitor's product. So definitely there is selling costs incurred in this market. So monopolistic competition for everyone. Moving on to oligopoly. When we talk about oligopoly market, everybody, when we talk about oligopoly market is a market which is characterized by few sellers. Oligopoly market is a market which is characterized by very few sellers. I'll give you an example now. If you see aviation, in aviation, aircraft manufacturers, how many aircraft manufacturers do you know? I am not talking about aircraft operators. I'm talking about aircraft manufacturers. You will find very few. You have this Boeing Airlines, then you have this Airbus. So there are very few. What I'm meaning to say is, so few sellers, and a new feature here is interdependence. Acha, cold drink market also, Pepsi and Coca-Cola. There is interdependence. Interdependence means the seller is seeing what their competition is doing, and one is trying to replicate the other. Sir, iska matlab kya hua? What does it mean, sir? It means, what does it mean, sir? It means that suppose interdependence. Suppose Pepsi brings in a 50 rupees can, something. You will see Coca-Cola will do something like that. So there is interdependence among firms. Each is trying to replicate the behavior of competition. Again, here also huge, very huge advertising costs being incurred. Huge advertising costs being incurred, because at the end of the day, we are trying to differentiate ourselves from the competition. Okay. And one interesting thing about this particular market is its curve. The demand curve under oligopoly market is indeterminate. This is an interesting point. Indeterminate. It is called indeterminate. One interesting language for this is kinked demand curve. Indeterminate demand curve, or also called kinked demand curve. Actually, this concept was given by Paul Sweezy. This concept, everyone, was given by Paul Sweezy. So it's also called Sweezy's model. Indeterminate or kinked demand curve. It's also called Paul Sweezy model. Is that so, sir? Yes, sir. Now let's talk about this. Paul Sweezy's model. Let's talk about this. So how does the demand curve look like? This, and boom, like this. So see, there is a shape change here. This is called a kink because there is a change in shape here. This is the oligopoly market structure, right? And now if you talk about monopsony, you will find out, friends, that it is a market which is characterized by single buyer and multiple sellers. Sir, how is it possible? We don't believe it. I'll give you an example, okay? On railway tracks, iron steel rims are used on railway tracks. Okay? Obviously, there are many companies manufacturing this iron and steel rims. But who is buying it? It's only the Indian government. कोई अपने घर पे तो रेलवे ट्रैक लगाता नहीं है. You don't keep a railway track at your house. So naturally, only Indian government is buying this. That's what I'm trying to say. That is a monopoly market where there is a single seller and many buyers. Now, two more fancy terms which I saw in our book. Okay, it's duopoly and bilateral monopoly. Since we are discussing markets, why leave them? Duopoly and bilateral monopoly. So friends, duopoly is nothing. It's an oligopoly only. It's just that it is that oligopoly in which there are two sellers. It is that oligopoly in which there are two sellers. Oligopoly with two sellers. And in bilateral monopoly, what happens? On one side, you have a single buyer, and on the other side, you have a single seller. There it is. That is bilateral monopoly. And duopoly is an oligopoly which is characterized by existence of two sellers in the market. Friends, what is the question now? I have spoken quite a bit about markets, I guess. What say everyone? Is it clear or are there any doubts? Let's see the chat. Just a second, students. I'm going through the chat. Just a minute. Give me some time. Anish says, sir, my doubt is from international trade, topic real effective exchange rate. Okay. Determination of nominal exchange rate. ठीक है. I've read your doubt. Okay. चलो ठीक है. Got it. Okay, Anish. Sir, do we need to study graph points also, sir? हाँ Ananya, go through graph points now, because at the end of the day, we are economic students. So without graph, we are not very sure what institute may ask. So I will definitely be in favor of going through graphs. In fact, you should go through graphs. Obviously, nobody is going to ask in the exam to draw graphs. It's an MCQ exam after all. But you never know what question one may ask. So therefore, don't get into that business of ignoring that. ठीक है ना? So
Now,
there it is.
apart from that, in case of graph, you can also basically draw the distinctions also. Through graph, you can very easily understand the characteristics of a particular market structure, because that is again the whole, whether it's homogeneous, whether it's elastic, whether it's inelastic, all part that is very much been, you can differentiate in the graph. So that is helpful in terms of revising that particular part. You see the graph and at least 4 or 5 characteristics of a particular market structure comes into your mind. That here, in case of perfect competition, there will be large number of firms. The product will be homogeneous. The price will be elasticity will be infinite, and the degree of control on price is none. So definitely graph is helpful, although generally in case of detailed explanation it is more helpful, but try to understand the graph also. And particularly Ashish, what he had uh, told you regarding the examples of different market structure, so that is also important, because generally sometimes the real type of examples has been given and you've been asked to tell about what sort of market structure this particular uh, entity will be landing, like in case of railway or anything, Pepsi, Coca-Cola. So all the distinctions or the examples that has been given, that is also very important. So from examination point of view, yes, that is important.
Okay. So now one of our friends was asking, sir, please talk about nominal, real, and real effective exchange rate. Okay. So I'll do that from the MCQ's point of view. I will definitely do that for you. Friend, number one is nominal exchange rate. Okay, let's go through it deep. चलो deep लेके चलता हूँ इसको, है ना? I'll take through it in depth. चलो आओ. First of all, what does it mean? It means the rate at which one country's currency can be exchanged with other country's currency. Example, when I say $1, just say when $1 is rupees 80. When I say $1 is rupees 80, it means what? It means for every dollar. It means what? It means for every dollar. It means for every dollar. $1 is rupees 80. So for every dollar, I can get 80 rupees. That is what nominal exchange rate means in simple language. So I'll write it down for you. It refers to the rate. It refers to the rate at which a person can trade the. It refers to the rate at which a person can trade the currency of one country. It refers to the rate at which a person can trade the currency of one country for currency of another country. So that's very self-explanatory. So when I say $1 is rupees 80, it means I have already prescribed that $1 is rupees 80 means to buy $1, I have to pay 80 rupees. That's it. What is real exchange rate? Good question. Two things to understand here. First of all, there are two things that you need to understand here. Real exchange rate is basically rate at which goods and services of one country can be traded with goods and services of another country. So here it was currency, rate at which currency could be traded. Real exchange rate, it is the rate at which goods can be traded. For example, if $1 is rupees 80, this is nominal rate because it is only showing the currency power. It's not showing the product power, meaning that it does not mean that for every dollar what I can buy in America, 80 times of that I can buy in India. Does it mean that? Or vice versa, does it mean? No, it does not. What is real exchange rate? I'll show you how it is calculated also. But first listen carefully. Real exchange rate, friends, is the rate. It is the rate. It is the rate at which a person can trade goods and services of one country, goods and services of one country for goods and services of another country. So now here is the key point I have explained, for goods and services of another country. So what I have clearly explained you is कि when you were discussing nominal exchange rates, you were talking about trading one currency with trading another currency. But when you are talking about real exchange rate, it is talking about trading goods and services with other goods and services. This way you can catch what institute is asking. Sir, but how is real exchange rate computed? Ye batao aap, how it is computed? Good question. Here is the answer. Real exchange rate is nominal exchange rate, that is the exchange rate prevailing in the market, into domestic price of the commodity that we were talking about, by domestic price of the commodity that we were talking about, by foreign price of the commodity that we were talking about. To give you an example, suppose exchange rate is $1 is rupees 80. So let me put 80 rupees. Now, suppose I wanted to buy a phone. Okay. A phone is costing me in India rupees 50,000. Acha, 50,000 rupees it's costing me in India. The same phone that is costing me in India rupees 50,000, the same phone is costing in America, phone is costing in America, let's say around $100. Whatever figure you think of. So if it's costing $100, then the real effective exchange rate, real exchange rate is, so 80 into 5, 40,000. So here it is 40,000. It is 40,000. So the domestic price is 50,000, but real effective exchange rate is 40,000, right? There it is. Now, what is real effective exchange rate? REER. Here you need to remember one funda. In real effective exchange rate, it is also a nominal effective rate. It is also a nominal effective exchange rate. It is also a nominal effective exchange rate. Effective exchange rate. What is the difference then, sir? What is the difference there? Here you were comparing domestic currency with one foreign currency, or with price of one foreign commodity, right? And in here it is a measure of value of real effective rate is a measure of value of domestic currency. That is okay. Measure of value of domestic currency against weighted average of all foreign currencies. Yes, against weighted average of all foreign currencies. So here weighted average of all foreign currencies are considered and not a single currency. So it is comparing your country currency with weighted average of other countries currency. This is how it's done. And a simple thing to remember about real effective exchange rate is that if institute gives you that real effective exchange rate has increased, simple language mein, what does it mean? If real effective exchange rate has increased, in simple language, it means that our exports, our country products are more expensive. Exports have become expensive. Our country's exports have become expensive. People are going to reduce exports from our country, and imports in our country is going to rise. So if you want to increase imports, then real effective rate should be increased. But naturally, a country won't want to do that. Naturally, your goal should be, what is your ideal goal as a country? To increase exports and to reduce imports. How do you do that? By making your products cheaper compared to the world. And how do you do that? By reducing the real effective exchange rate. So what is the broader goal? To reduce the real effective exchange rate, because that is going to push the exports upwards. Because real effective exchange rate is reduced, what it simply means is that my country's products, even if a foreigner buys, it is cheaper to them than their country products. That is the concept of real effective exchange rate. I think, Anish, I have prescribed and described everything that is relevant from the MCQ standpoint. Any other question?
Examples in your study material is also there, which will further clarify your understanding of the subject, because Ashish has very much clearly explained you in very simple language the detailed concepts. Apart from this, if you see your study module, a few examples are also been there, and generally a few questions regarding exchange rates is definitely is coming in every examination. So from exam point of view, is these concepts are important, and this unit international trade is also, for that matter, important.
Right, sir.
I think one student is asking about monetary base. Just
Okay, understood, sir. So let me read the question. Just a minute, sir. Just a second. Okay, sir, all things are clear. Sir, can you explain once about the topic of devaluation? Sir, monetary base. Okay. So, ठीक है. Actually, I saw two questions. So one was pertaining to your devaluation, and one was related to the concept of monetary base. So yes, we are going to tackle both of them. Friends, first of all, let me answer this question of monetary base before I move on to the question on devaluation, right? See, when somebody tells me what is monetary base, or somebody asks me what is monetary base, the answer is very simple. You need to go through the concept of high powered money. If you know what is high powered money, high powered money, high powered money, that is what is monetary base. But sir, what does it include? I will again tell this. But remember, high powered money is nothing. High powered money is nothing but monetary base. High powered money is nothing but monetary base of the country. Sir, Sir, next question is, how do we compute this? See, as far as high powered money or reserve money is concerned, it is again currency with banks and plus other reserves. So that is very simple. Currency held with public and other reserves with RBI. So the calculation is very simple. But remember, if you were talking about monetary base, then you got to understand that it is the money that is issued by monetary authority. It is the money issued by monetary authority. Obviously, it means RBI. Money issued by monetary authority. Obviously, when I say monetary authority, I mean RBI, right? And then one of the friends asked about the concept of devaluation, right? Another student asked about the concept of devaluation. See, there are two concepts that are going together. One is devaluation and one is depreciation. In one case, what happens is market forces reduce the domestic currency. In other cases, government decides it. So one is under flexible exchange rate system, one is under fixed exchange rate system. But what I understood, the question was asked from the perspective of what is its economic implication. तो चलो वो मैं आपको दिखाता हूँ. Let me explain that. Okay. So friends, suppose $1 is rupees 50. Now it has changed because of market or because of the government, whoever it is. $1 equals to rupees 100. This is the classic case of devaluation slash depreciation. After all, impact is same in both the cases. So $1 equals to 50, $1 to rupees 100. But sir, why would any government want to do that? Because agar aap aisa kar rahe ho, because if you are doing this, then you are reducing the value of your currency. Because initially, rupee was so prestigious that for $1 you would only get 50 rupees. Now rupees value has reduced and you are getting $1 equals to rupees 100. But why would any government or any market do that? The benefit of our country, India, because our home currency is rupee, would be that our exports will increase. Eh? Sir, how will exports increase? Okay, let me elaborate this point to you. Suppose a product in America is costing $100. Okay? Product in America is costing $100. Now pay attention, everyone. Forget about $100 in America. Let's come to India. A product in India is costing rupees 50,000, the same phone. Now, when $1 is rupees 50, what is that American thinking? That American is thinking ki, okay, if I want to pay 50,000 rupees to India, I will have to buy dollars first. And in order to buy dollar, or I would have to buy rupee first. In order to do that, $1 is rupees 50. So they would easily divide it and they would understand that for them it would be $1,000 because they understand cost in terms of dollars, not in terms of rupee. Okay. Now the same product is selling in America for $800. You all tell me, friends, do you really think that person is going to buy that product from India? Definitely not, because in their home country, USA, this product is selling cheaper rather. Now what the Indian government does is it changes 50 rupees to 100 rupees. This is also a currency war. India does not engage in currency war, but other countries like China definitely engage in that. Though we will not talk about that now. Now suppose $1 is rupees 100. So when you divide 100, now the same foreigner is dividing 100. Now they are realizing that for them the product is only $500 after devaluation. Rupee terms, it's still 50,000, but now for them it's $500. So naturally, now the product has become cheaper than USA. So obviously they will buy the product from India. Indian exports will rise and Indian imports will fall. That is the full history, geography of devaluation and depreciation. Whoever friend asked, I am sure I have been able to justify it.
Even in the case of the new industrial policy, this LPG, in the policy that has taken place in 1991, these were the whole basic reason behind that. The whole
Right,
liberalization policy was based on devaluation only, devaluation of the rupee. And that moment, uh, Dr. Manmohan Singh, who just passed away, had given a landmark budget in 1991, which changed the whole script of the Indian economy. And from that perspective also, and at that point of time, interest in international trade has also been created, because initially people were not observing that very closely, but that 1991 onwards, there are many changes that has occurred in the international arena, which created interest, particularly in trade per se.
Right, sir. So, as sir has rightly mentioned, sir has taken us to Indian economy, and we have already done it in details. Sir spoke about LPG 1991, which our then finance minister Dr. Manmohan Singh, who later becomes the PM, Prime Minister of our country, who brought in this concept of LPG, and the entire idea of LPG was based around self-reliance, that is to promote exports and to reduce imports, which Nikhil sir has already highlighted. Any other question, students? Sir, what is National Savings Certificate? Devender is asking. Devender, basically these were certificates issued by the government of people for it was a kind of investment, you say. So when we compute M4, we don't consider this because these were the old concepts. So we don't try to include that as per RBI guidelines.
And a few students, particularly they used to ask that how the calculation of M1, M1, M2, M3, M4 done. Now these are all standard classification. There's no derivation of that particular, that the standard that has been prescribed by the RBI, who had the authority to manage the money supply, basically the monetary policy of the country. So definitely we cannot calculate M1, M2, M3 only the parameters on the basis of which this whole M1, M2, M3 is been calculated, is been prescribed by the RBI, and we used to follow that only.
Okay. Parinita has asked, sir, how is average revenue affected in the markets? Parinita, a simple answer. A simple concept that I think you have forgotten or you don't know. Average revenue is nothing. Don't think about average revenue. There is no concept called average revenue. It is just price of a product. Because at the end, what is average revenue? See, average revenue is total revenue divided by quantity sold. Yes. What is total revenue? Price per unit into quantity sold divided by quantity. So Parinita, if you know how price behaves, you know how average revenue behaves. So for example, in perfect competition, I say price remain constant. So it means average revenue remains constant. In monopoly and monopolistic competition, I told that price is reduced to sell more. It means average revenue is reduced to sell more. In oligopoly, you already know it is indeterminate. So there I have answered your question. You were asking about the question of behavior of revenue, average revenue. I am saying there is nothing called average revenue. It is price behavior masked as average revenue. I think your problem is solved.
Few clarification regarding that national income units, because there are lot of questions that is been asked. So that a little bit of revision of that will be important.
Okay, sir. So students, as far as national income concepts are concerned, few things that needs to be remembered is that default measure of national income is, though there are 8 units, 8 yardsticks, right? But when we talk about national income, it is always NNP at FC that we are looking at. Net national product at factory cost. Net national product at factory cost is what we are looking at, obviously. Now, in a national income, since we are in an MCQ world, I'll talk accordingly that in national income, question may come regarding which item to be included, which item to be excluded while computing national income. I take some measures. I take some concepts into the examination hall. Number one concept is for any product or services value to be considered or to qualify for inclusion in the world of national income. For any product or service value to qualify for inclusion in the world of national income, my formula is simple. The formula is there should be addition of new goods and services. If there are new goods and services added to the economy, then should be included in the national income. Yes, it should be included in the national income. But if we are talking about profits made on sale of second hand goods, okay, profit made on sale of second hand goods, if you have made some profit on sale of second hand goods, will it be included in national income? The answer is straight no. Third question is, But sir, what about the commission? Some on commission, brokerage, all these are first hand services. There is nothing called a second hand service. So yes, commission, brokerage, etc. Commission, brokerage, etc. All these are new services. So incomes generated from this will definitely form a part of national income. But yes, goods, suppose a farmer grows some crops for self consumption. So remember that yes, goods produced for self consumption, goods produced for self consumption, will it be included in national income? The answer is definitely yes. Goods produced for self consumption will definitely be included in national income. But services of self-consumption. Services of self-consumption means services of housewives, right? Example, just giving an example. Services of people who stay in their house, serve their family. No, we don't include that. But sir, isn't it wrong? I do agree. I always tell in the class, I do agree that this is wrong. But as far as the explanation in the books are concerned, and trust me, I have read multiple books, all the books say that it is for the sake of simplicity that we don't include service for self-consumption in national income. So be it. We will not argue the logic. We will kind of say if they ask services of housewives, will it be included in national income? The answer is no, it will not be included in national income. Next, sixth point. Sixth point. How do we compute operating surplus? How do we compute operating surplus can come in an examination. Because now I'm going to this world of income calculation. So my answer is very simple, students. If you are to compute operating surplus, the answer is very simple. Operating surplus is equals to rent plus royalty plus interest, rent, royalty, interest, profit, rent, royalty, interest, profit, rent, royalty, interest, profit, rent, royalty, interest, profit. Okay, RIP. RIP. Obviously, R has two implications, rent and royalty. Okay. Now, seventh question that comes is, sir, how do you compute profit? Ye bhi acha hai. This is also a good one. Sir, how do we compute profit? So friends, if you want to compute profit, there are three parts of profits. There are three parts of profit. Number one is savings. Three parts of profit. Number one, savings. Number two, corporate taxes. At the end of the day, taxes, savings, that is the undistributed profits, and finally the dividends that have been distributed. Because profits at the end of the day take these three phases. Some profit we distribute to shareholders called as dividend, some we give to the government in the form of taxes, and the rest we save for future projects. So if they ask you to compute profit, since see, it's a 1 mark question, na? So we got to prepare accordingly so that we are able to address that. Eighth point, the relationship between aggregates. The relationship between aggregates is very simple. So if you're standing in the world of domestic products, okay, DP, domestic products, if you add NFIA, you get national product. Sir, what is NFIA? There are two meanings to NFIA. If it is positive, it means net factor income from abroad. It means people outside India are earning more than what foreigners in India are earning. So NFIA is positive. From, it means net factor income from abroad. And if it's negative, it means people outside India are earning less than what people, foreigners within India are earning. So it is called net factor income to abroad. Okay, net factor income from abroad and net factor income to abroad. Okay, so domestic product plus net factor income from abroad is national product. Ninth point, if something is at gross value, if you deduct depreciation or if you deduct capital consumption allowance, you reach net value. If from gross you deduct depreciation or capital consumption allowance, you reach net value. Next, 10th point, if anything is at factory price, if anything is at factory price, okay, factory price, and you add net indirect taxes. What is net indirect taxes? Indirect taxes minus subsidies. So if anything is at factory price and you add net indirect taxes to it, you reach where, sir? Sir, you reach market prices. Sir, where do you reach, sir? Sir, you reach market prices. So factory price plus net indirect taxes is equals to market prices. So these are some of the concepts that you need to kind of remember. And obviously, whatever interconversion they ask, you will be able to tackle it. one more thing you need to remember is, just like national income is NNP at FC, domestic income is equals to NDP at FC. Other things remaining the same. Other things remaining the same. 12th point. 12th point. 12th point is a very good one. That is GDP, a measure of welfare in an economy. Institute में ask you कि क्या हम लोग कह सकते हैं कि growth in GDP means growth in welfare? Yes, no, yes or no? Come on. Not even 4. I have given you 2 options. So now everyone listen. Everyone listen. GDP is a measure of welfare. GDP is a measure of welfare. GDP is a measure of welfare. Yes or no? The answer is no. GDP is not a measure of welfare. It is not a reliable measure of welfare. I will tell you why. The reason is externalities. There are many reasons. I will classify it as DEN. The trick is why GDP is not a measure of welfare. Why GDP is not a trustworthy measure of economic welfare. The reason is DEN. D is distribution. So everyone in a country, rich may become richer, poor may become poorer. GDP will still increase, but in reality, welfare is reducing. So how can you trust GDP as a measure of welfare when both of them are going in opposite directions? Ideally, for something to be a welfare, suppose GDP had to be a welfare measure, then in order for GDP to become a good measure for welfare, if GDP rises, we would understand welfare should rise. Okay, so both should move in the same direction. But here it is, see, different directions. So if GDP is rising, welfare is falling in the case of distribution of GDP. E, externalities. Take, for example, a lot of industries are being set up. A lot of industries are being set up. They are polluting the environment. Okay, they are polluting the environment. They are polluting the environment. Okay, there are a lot of, pollution going on. They are polluting the environment. Industries are being set up. Everybody is celebrating. Very good, very good. Industry is growing. Good, very good. But what about the pollution? What about the health implications of it? Who is talking about it? Then we will debate what to do about climate change. You see how it is ironical. Okay, last day I was visiting and I really found it interesting. Uh, uh, I think it was the foreign minister of Guyana or maybe the main minister. I don't remember that, but he was from Guyana. Okay, so he was being interviewed by a BBC journalist. Okay, now in as far as Guyana is concerned, some oil reserves were collected in Guyana. So this BBC journalist asked this Guyana president or prime minister that now you will be polluting the environment too, because there are lots of oil discovered in your area now. So you know what this guy told? This guy told the BBC journalist that, are you paying us for maintaining such huge quantity of forests? England and Scotland combined don't have enough area covered as much as we have covered under forests. So are you paying me for maintaining the biodiversity in forest before lecturing me about the pollution I will be causing? Who started industrial revolution if you are so much concerned about the climate change? So this is a classic example of how GDP cannot be an indicator of welfare. Then you should cut all the trees and set up all the factories. It's not. So therefore, yes, GDP cannot be used as a measure of welfare. And DEN, non-monetary activities. So friends, I will tell you about my mother. My mother is a housewife, okay? Now, she basically prepared lunch on time so that I could be ready for this class, for taking this class on time. So is this not increasing my welfare? What my mother did for me? Yeah, what my mother has been doing for me? Yes, it is increasing my welfare. But is GDP increasing? So we can safely conclude that GDP has nothing to do with welfare. GDP is not at all an indicator of welfare. Both are two different concepts, nothing to do with each other. So yes, sir. Yes, sir. Therefore, these are the concepts from national income per se, which you have to remember. Any other question, students?
Now, Hers has a question that, sir, how to overcome fear in examination? Now, ultimately, from the very beginning, that we are telling that uh, definitely you have to read all the concepts, you have to read the study module, you have to keep on revising the things so that you can overcome fear. Because you don't revise, you don't understand, then definitely you'll be in a grip of fear, because you exactly are not doing justice to the subject that you have to study. Now, overcoming fear is only by practice, only by revision, and having a basic understanding of the subjects. Although all our modules is there on the our BoS knowledge portal, the recorded lectures are available, the different questions, the assignments that has been given in the classes, that has been there, our mock test series, that for to overcome fear of the examination, we used to conduct this mock test series, so that at least uh, you that is the main motto of that. So definitely uh, try to avoid stress, try to overcome the fear, because ultimately when you have not prepared well, then only fear comes in. When you have prepared well, you have gone through the concepts, and definitely you will able to do well in the examination. There is no point about that.
Right, sir. So yes, as sir has rightly mentioned, that fear is, whenever you fear or whenever there is anxiety, just get into action. When I say action, just get into the business of studying, revising, looking into where you are lacking. Most often than not, what we the biggest mistake we tend to do is that suppose we fear a particular chapter, so we tend to avoid it. But the key to good marks lies in attacking that chapter. Attack that chapter, study that again and again. What we do is we consistently revise that chapter which we are already comfortable in. So we are not growing there. If you are uncomfortable somewhere, go ahead and read that chapter. The chances are that will help you move forward.
There's one more question on this long run and short run profit and losses.
Okay,
Then
sir,
again,
understood.
that depends upon the shape of the curve that has been there. In case of perfect competition, although you have designed that particular slope of the demand curve and the marginal revenue uh, curve, that depends what is the profit or the loss that you will be getting. Or you want to explain a little bit of more, Assis?
Yes, sir, I'll go ahead.
Huh.
So see, students, as far as perfect competition is concerned, you see, in perfect competition, be it short run, be it long run, at the end of the day, in long run in perfect competition, one would only be making normal profits.
Normal
I
profit.
will tell you why. In short run, okay, chalo, it is acceptable that you may be making super normal profits or losses. But you know what? In long run, you will only be making normal profits. Sir, ऐसा क्यों? Suppose in short run, you were making super normal profits. Other firms who are not already in this market will enter this market in search of this extra profits. As a result, what will happen? There will be so many firms that everyone will only be making normal profits. If you are incurring losses in short run, some firms will leave the industry, as a result of which sales of the remaining firms will increase. Again, as a result of which everybody will only be making normal profits. In terms of monopoly, yes, they tend to make super normal profits. The reason is that there is no competition in the short run and long run. So yes, monopoly businesses tend to make super normal profits over a course of longer term, right? In monopolistic competition also, again, similar things happen. and end up making normal profits only, right? So there it is. That is the main discussion that was needed. Baki in institute's material, it has been classified and described in a beautiful way. You just go through it and you will be able to acknowledge it.
And particularly at this moment, students, don't try to create lot of confusion in your mind. Exactly in a simple way, you are understanding the thing. That is very important, because at this moment, if you create lot of questions, lot of doubts, then again it will create self doubt. So whatever given in your study module, try to read it carefully. What is been taught in the classes, the notes that you have prepared, rely on that, because ultimately uh, creating doubts, too much doubt with again will make you nervous. Now, so at this moment, there's no uh, no chance to get into that mode. Try to be calm and try to study well within your capacity that has been there itself, because everybody cannot be uniform in that matter, and don't compare yourself with anybody. You are the best judge of yourself, and your strategy will help you in cracking this foundation examination. So there is no shortcut, and there is no uniform strategy as such. Uh, Only thing is, we had told you in detail about chapter by chapter, which are the questions, which are the areas that need to be more focused upon. The types of questions, although from September onwards, you are getting the question paper also, because initially you have to take the answers, and you have to submit the questions also in with the examination department. Now, right now, you are getting the questions also. So accordingly, you can have an analysis of the questions. Although in the very beginning, I had told several times that questions will be within the syllabus. Uh, the level of toughness is also will be moderate, so that within the stipulated time, every student will be able to easily answer that questions. That is no doubt about that.
Right, sir.
So any more questions? I think most of the doubts of the student, and the areas that we had planned, where we'll be stressing upon, in fact, we'll be revising upon a few concepts that already Assis and I had tried to do that. And hopefully, I think most of the doubts that any student are having is almost cleared in this session. So mm, uh, basically, that conclude this BOS for Success Series 2. And only we hope that you all will clear your CA foundation examination, particularly the paper that we are just talking about, economics, with very good marks. So definitely don't panic. Stay calm. Focus on uh, the study module. Keep on revising that thing, because practice only makes a man perfect. So that is the most important mantra that we can share with you. So all the best for your examinations, and thank you, Assis, for clearing doubts of the students, even though from all syllabus perspective and all, we had tried to cover all that we can uh, basically at last moment we can give to the student.
Okay. Thank you, sir. And
So
good luck,
thank you,
students.
student, for joining this session. I think you must have gained something from this. Thank you all.
Good luck, students. Thank you, sir.
जी मैनेजर